Hey guys, day 2 of my project here. We got a little bit of a late start yesterday, and then there's had a couple things that kept me from continuing the project last night. But I want to go over where we're at here, do a quick recap. So far, since the intake manifold is out, and you see the only thing left in here is my, I think you're seeing this anyway, let me get a light. Where is my light? There it is. Okay. Only thing left in here is my oil cooler and a V-band clamp I didn't take out. EGR cooler is just held in place by one clamp right there at the up pipe. I have shifted my focus to the exhaust side of things, working on getting the up pipe and Y pipe out. It's pain. It's pain in the butt, YouTube. So, let's see here. I do want to tell you guys just kind of how I did things here, because it was ridiculous. This top bolt on this side of the exhaust manifold, exhaust manifold that connects to the Y pipe. To get the top bolt here, you need a, what did I use here? I used this contraption. So I got 2 extensions, a swivel socket, and a 10mm socket on there, deep well. You might be able to use a short or standard, I'm not sure. But I had to go up over the valve cover by the Y pipe there, wrestle it on there, sit here, well, sit with my butt on the fender and my feet here, and bend over to put a 13mm wrench on the bottom one, and then turn like 1/4 of an inch from the top. All of my, I shouldn't say all of them, 2 of my bolts, one on each side, turned freely without any socket or wrench, and this was one of them. The other one I was able to get below, I was able to get a wrench on top of it. So I put a 10mm wrench on top, and then to hold it so as I loosened, the wrench would stop the nut on top, or the bolt from moving as I loosened the nut. And I did that one from below. On this other side here, so far I just have the bottom one out, and how did I do that? So I did that underneath, wrestled a wrench on a 10mm on top, used a socket to loosen it. It's pain in the butt. It's a really tight fit down there, but and that 4-inch exhaust I put on does not help. But I was able to get it, so you might be able to get it easier coming through the fender. On this side, I might still need to do that for this last bolt. But I think what I'm going to start with now is I'm going to work on getting the EGR cooler out. Day 2 of this project, you start to get a little sore, and the truck needs to be back together tonight. So I'd like to have it back together in 12 hours. Here's hoping. Anyway, guys, once I wrestle that out, I will get back to you and we'll go from there. Okay, guys, here we have all the exhaust bolts for the Y pipe and just the up pipe I disconnected. I'm trying to avoid having to disconnect this up pipe from the Y pipe, although I might have to, but I'm thinking if I can kind of get an idea of how to get my new one in, because my new one looks like this with the Y pipe welded in. So it could be a bit of a bear to I'm just trying to avoid having to learn how to do this with my nice one that's brand new when I can learn on my old one here. So, EGR cooler is disconnected now. I'll hop up here, pull this out. After your intake is out, the only thing that holds this in place is a clamp right off. And I'll show you here. Josh and I, on ours, we put freeze plugs in either side, so nothing's going in or out. This does appear to be one of the, somebody put an aftermarket one in before I bought it, because it just has the tubes in there. At least I believe it to be aftermarket. So this is the 03 style. It's round. That will not be going back in my truck. So I'm now going to attempt to wrestle out the intake. I'm trying to get you guys. Hey guys, welcome back. So gonna give you some update. We have the Wi-Fi out. Here is a comparison to my new one that's going in. Obviously you can see this is all brand new piping, and the up pipe is here. And I am hopeful this will go in easier. This kind of got stuck on a few things, so I'm hoping this, or I don't know if I showed that or not, this, the EGR provision kind of got stuck. And I gotta tell you, I think that might be why they went to a longer EGR cooler. May have been to sneak, I mean, I'm sure there's more than that, but I would imagine it's easier to sneak the 05 models out because of that. So, as you can see, this is a delete pipe. I don't know how well those welds in there are showing up, but you know, the only thing I can say, the only thing you know, I do kind of like the Ford collars. They are meaty suckers, to say the least. But I don't see why. I mean, this is probably the better part of half-inch thick collars here. So this, you know, is probably more than sufficient for my needs. So. Very excited. It has the Vibrant Flex bellows in there, whatever they're specifically called. So real excited. We're going to get this in here shortly, and I will keep you guys updated. I guess that's it for now. Oh no, that's not true. In here, to get it off, there's a bracket here for your FICM. I recommend removing it. I'm not saying you can't get it out without it taking it off, but it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's just five nuts. Take it out. At this time, if you're doing IPR valve, this would be the time to do it because it sits right up there. I am not, which is probably a mistake. And your ICP sensor on the 03 engines is right behind it. I replaced mine a few years ago. I am going to quick check it because I had a hard time getting it as tight as I needed to. So I'm going to quick make sure it is all tight while I have it apart. And look for any obvious oil leaks here. So I did find a random screw in the engine bay. I think that's one I was missing earlier. So right now I'm just going to take the oil cooler out next. That is and then I can start building this back up. Once the oil cooler is out, I'm probably going to put my Y pipe back in and try to sneak that in there. You want to be careful putting the Y pipe in. You don't want to break it. You know, obviously it's brand new, and there's, you know, you put enough torque on them, you are going to break them. So just be careful as you're doing that, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll get back to you in a little. Okay, so not quite sure how, it looks like it's showing up. So just to let you know, your transmission is right here. Here's your exhaust manifold on the driver side. So basically you get a 10mm socket up here. It doesn't need to be a deep socket, that's just what I'm using. It'll be hard to see, but on this side, you then get a 13 if nobody's messed with these bolts. And then you're able to go to town. So let me just take this for 1 second, show you guys what I'm, see how much of this is coming up. So there's down here the 13, and up there by the after the transmission is your 10
You're getting
millimeter.
the Y pipe and the up pipe off.
So what I found is having your head closer to the being out from underneath the truck, you're able to get a better angle at this.
Sorry, it's fall and the sun's going away early.
You spray anything on these bolts?
Yep.
Okay, just checking.
Got it all in my eyes. Always wear goggles. I never do, but I really should.
So basically you use the truck to stop your other ratchet and let you loosen this.
So here's the front of the truck. There's the leaf springs. Jared's up at the front drive shaft. This is on the driver's side. The Y pipe. How many bolts on this side, Jared?
2 per side.
Alright, so we'll get back to you.
Alright.
We're back!
Okay, so I got one less extension. The only reason I use 2 is to bring this down further, just make it a little more comfortable in this bottom one, but you can't connect to the top without it. So you're coming the same way to get each of these. And holy crap, this thing is rusting like a Dodge.
Huh?
Your truck is rusty like a Dodge.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Except my frame looks better than yours.
This side going a little worse. This one's just a pain in the butt to get.
Did you want to say anything else?
Really just that this is how you get it the exact same way. Get your 10 millimeter with a socket up here. Holds it tight. You can't do much in the way of turning with it, but it's at least connected up there. It'll hold it tight. And then, oh, here's where your leak was. No, wait, never mind. There it is. So, anyway, this is the harder side to get. That's how you get them off. And that's all.
You just beat on her. We'll be back.
Alright guys, hey guys, so I have like a 3-inch extension here and a 10 millimeter deep socket. You don't need a deep socket, that's just what I had. But you'll need an extension. I broke all the bolts on the oil cooler housing loose with just a regular ratchet. Now that they're broken loose, I'm gonna use my power ratchet and just get them off. Now that they're all off, I'm just going to pick them out by hand. Be careful not to drop these. You have your engine opened up here. If you didn't, you should really put something in your intake holes there as well, so you're not risking parts going down in there. Especially one of these bolts would go right down. Okay. Now, there we are. So when you pick this up, there's oil all in here, guys. So, just to kind of help keep some of these connections out, I'm going to zip tie this stuff up. My zip tie is long enough. So the only thing we're trying to do with that is prevent all my connections from going all in the oil. You can remove this harness, I believe, but you don't need to, and I don't particularly feel like it. So I'm going to let this drain. There's a gasket down here you can pull off. Okay, so my first recommendation after that, clean up. I have oil everywhere. I think the first time I did this job, I think I got one of those like disposable pans people will cook turkeys in the oven in. I'm sure they do other things with them, but that's what I know, and I kind of just caught it in there. So here's the gasket. So to get the rest of this out, I'm just going to take a disposable cup and just pour it out, really. So, after I do that, I will get back to you guys, and we'll go from there.